Hey, a long time no see. Thanks for coming back. If you've been with me for a while. You may remember that I've been on a break most of this year. I posted a blog post about a month ago, but wasn't quite finished my thesis, and so I went on another little break. But in January, I decided that I would go on a hiatus to focus on grad school because I also have a full-time job and a husband and other things in life, and I just knew that I couldn't do it all. Something had to go. And so I decided that I would take a break until May because I thought I was going to finish in May. Joke was on me. But I defended my thesis on December 6th and I uploaded it to the library, which is what you do after you finish the revisions that they give you after defending, and it is completely done. I never have to think about my thesis again except for graduation, but that's not for another 6 months or so. But it is so exciting and so good to be done. And I've been really excited about getting back to this and getting back to photography because for so long, like almost 5 years, I just felt like I couldn't really enjoy a lot of stuff outside of work without feeling a little bit guilty. Photography wasn't something that I was able to focus on a lot besides blogging. But I'm back and I'm super excited, and today actually I bought myself a graduation present. My husband agreed that it was a good idea, and I bought a new lens so that I can actually do this properly. Anyway, this is my first time filming with it. It's my first time filming with a ring light that I rented for work, and I'm hoping to buy one of my own soon. And let me know what you think of the setup, because in previous videos I've had to film on my iPhone and it's pretty good, but this setup means that I can film at night, which is huge, because as you know, most of the time during the year, like, it's dark. You leave for work in the dark, you come home in the dark, and so really Saturdays were the only time that I could take pictures and stuff for vlogging, and it just wasn't always realistic. Anyway, so I'm back, long story short, and I'm excited to be here. I thought, what better way to open up my return to vlogging in December, today's Boxing Day, than with the 2018 yearly favorites. Lots of people do these, and it's maybe a little bit repetitive because you've heard from them the rest of the year, but you haven't heard from me, so some of these might be surprises. So, enough talking, I'm gonna get into it. And I'm kind of gonna start with the order in which I put things on my face. And just so you know, like, this is my crappy hair and my crappy Boxing Day outfit. My husband and I made turkey dinner today, so not looking my best. My hair's got like half a can of dry shampoo in it, but I did redo my makeup for this because I wanted to be able to say that everything that I'm talking about is on my face. So here we go. I'll start with actually the thing that I take makeup off with. It's Bioderma. Bioderma is micellar water, and it's the most gentle, most effective thing that I have found in removing makeup gently, and removing eye makeup in particular gently. I have very sensitive skin. I have maturing skin. I'm not 24 years old, and so I can't deal with really harsh cleansers that foam up and strip the oils out of my skin. I just get really tight and really uncomfortable. Most things from the drugstore that are targeted towards skin that's like slightly acne prone, like mine, is meant for teenage skin, and that's not what I have. I find that most acne products geared for adolescent skin are very harsh, and I just can't handle that. And so I need to use gentle products. And what I love about this as an eye makeup remover is that it does not leave any kind of residue. You can take your makeup off with it, whether it's face makeup or eye makeup. You don't have to rinse. You can just put your makeup right back on, and that's my favorite thing about it. So it is a little bit expensive, but if you wait for sales at Shoppers, you can get two for $30 usually, and because today was Boxing Day, I got two of these for like $21. It's fantastic. So I think it's absolutely worth it. Yeah, I don't know where you can get it in the States. You should be able to get it online, but in Canada, I get it at Shoppers, and it's just like, I take off my makeup at the end of the day, kind of like a double cleanse, and then I do a regular cleanse with a gentle cleanser, but this is just the best way to make sure that I get every ounce of makeup off. Often what I'll do is put some of this on a cotton round, take off most of my eye makeup, then cleanse my face and do like a nice rinse around my eyes with lots of water to get all the mascara off. And then after I do that, there might be a little bit under my eyes, and I just take the rest off with this. And there's no residue, and you don't need to rinse, so it's perfect. You need to try this if you haven't already. I only have one other non-makeup product, or non-makeup tool, or makeup tool that isn't makeup, anyway, whatever. And that's Janeiro Brazilian Bum Cream, and I use it everywhere, not just on my bum. As to whether it actually firms, I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention. I don't think that there's much that could combat my cellulite besides drinking less beer and eating fewer cookies, but this leaves my skin so smooth and so soft and so hydrated with just a little bit of glow, and it just smells like, well, it smells like what I imagine Brazil to smell like. It's just tropical and wonderful and smells like a Mexican vacation every day. My cat hates it. Like, he takes off running whenever I open it up. I guess he's just sensitive to smells, but this is so good. And it is very expensive, like stupid expensive, but buy it on sale like I do. Just be strategic about shopping the VIB sales, and I don't think you'll regret it. In terms of makeup, my favorite foundation is actually a foundation and primer combo. If you've been following me for a while, this won't surprise you. Charlotte Tilbury, Light Wonder and Wonderglow combination. Wonderglow is the primer, Light Wonder is the foundation. Very, very light coverage, but I've got pretty good skin, and so I'm good with that. Besides which, even if you don't have really great skin, I still find that it looks more natural to use a lighter coverage foundation and then spot conceal with concealer, so you don't just have a mask of product all over your face. Wonderglow gives this really, really nice glow. It's exactly what it says it does without being obnoxious. Again, because I'm not 24, I can't handle like glitter on my face. I can't handle things that really emphasize my pores because I do have lots of them. Wonderglow is just really gentle. I find that it is targeted towards a slightly more mature woman. And I actually really like the packaging on these. They're a plastic bottle with a little plastic spout like this. And it lets you get just the right amount. You can just squeeze and put it on your hand. It's not like a pump that wastes a lot. Like for me, the MAC Pro Longwear concealer is a bit infamous. Like, there's a pump, which I like better than not having a pump, but it always dispenses more than I need. So with this, I can customize the amount that I need. And I am in the shade 2 Fair. And actually 1 Fair works well for me too, actually better in the winter than this does. But when I replaced this, I accidentally ordered the 2 Fair, but I'm making it work. But so 2 is good in summer, 1 is better in winter. Either one can work if I'm really patient. But it's very, gives a very light sort of glossy coverage on the skin. It just looks really healthy and really natural. I really, really like it. And again, it doesn't give great coverage, but it just makes your skin look really, really good and really even. And then you can add to that with concealer if you need to, which I do. So I tried a bunch of new concealers this year. Some were good, most were good. Yeah, my favorite though is Charlotte Tilbury, in fact. Magic Away, what is it called? Magic Away Liquid Concealer. And it takes a lot to impress me with a concealer because like, it's not so much that it's difficult to find a concealer that covers up blemishes. I don't get a ton of them, but it's pretty easy to cover those up. And I can use any different things for this. I can use this if I'm feeling impatient, if I'm feeling very patient, and use 2 different products. The MAC Studio Finish Concealer is actually the best, still for hiding blemishes. I just don't get that many of them, and so I tend to just use the same concealer on my spots as I do under my eyes, unless I'm going for brightening. But really, for a concealer, to know whether I like a concealer or not, it has to perform well under my eyes. It's the oldest part of my face. It's the part of my face that I find the most challenging to deal with because they're quite blue. Like, I'm very fair, as you may have gathered, and so my under eye circles look very dark and very blue. And I'm also getting older, and so I get like crow's feet like this, and like concealer can just gather under my fine lines. It can dry out, it can just make me look really old and not good. So I have to wear a really, really good eye cream. In fact, I wear 2. I wear an eye gel to start, kind of like a serum, and then I put a cream on top to make sure that I'm really hydrated and depuffed. Then I use a corrector. Not too fussed about which one. I'm using the Armani Master Corrector right now. Not my favorite. I think I'll go back to the Chanel Eclat Lumière when it runs out. But anyway, concealer is really the key thing. And the Magic Away has really, really good coverage, and the texture is very difficult to explain. Like, it's marketed as like Spanx for your under eyes, I think, and that it'll just sort of stretch over the areas that you need. And it's difficult to explain how that works, but it does. It somehow stretches over the areas I need and just makes it look so natural and so hydrated and so good, and it lasts really nicely. There are a couple things I don't like about this. One is the applicator. So you can see it gets pretty messy. Like, it just cranks out of this little sponge. It's kind of like the Maybelline Age Rewind. And I get why it applies this way, because it's quite thick. It's not quite a liquid concealer, it's more like a liquid / cream. And so I can see why it's done this way, and it's nice to just apply like this and it helps you blend, but it gets quite messy. I like that you can see how much is left in this little chamber, but I don't like how little there is for what you pay. So it's pricey. But it is really good. So while I repurchase, yes, I just won't be super happy about it. If I had to choose a number 2, it would actually be the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. Also really good. Doesn't look quite as natural. It's a little bit higher coverage, and I don't find the color is quite as good. is this one, but you also get more bang for your buck. So if you like the idea of this one but you can't stomach the price, try Too Faced Born This Way. It's really good. Someone described it as Too Faced, as like the Tarte Shape Tape but less drying, which is exactly what I needed. Tarte Shape Tape is way too drying on me. It just does not work under my eyes. It makes me look old. And it tends to just like pull all of the moisture out of my makeup and out of my face and starts to look cakey. Not a good look. I wish that I could return it, but I can't. I got it at Ulta in the States and I never go there. So anyway, try this, Magic Away. If you can't stomach the price, try Born This Way. Yeah, but this is my favorite, and it is in shade 2 Fair. It is shocking to me that the shade 1 Fair is actually too light for me. Didn't know that was possible, but it makes me look quite chalky. So like if you're Irish and like white, like my sister who isn't Irish, but she's basically Snow White, that would work for her. If you're just fair like me, try the 2. What else? Okay, we're still in base products. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Genius Magic Powder for under eye and face. And at first, actually, I really didn't like this. It does have a noticeable smell. It doesn't kill me. It is, like, I noticed it when I open it up. It doesn't linger when I put it on my face, but it is there. It's a little bit messy. I mean, as far as loose powders go, it's not bad. It's got like a, I don't know if you can see, it's got a little, like a sifter that you can close, and so it makes it less messy than a lot of loose powders like Laura Mercier's, but it's still something to consider. But I didn't like it at first because I was using it to set my makeup. And even though I'm sensitive and sometimes dehydrated, I do get a little bit oily, particularly around here. And so it just did not do an adequate job of setting my makeup. It did not last. Makeup just slid around, wore off, did not like it. And then I had the bright idea of trying it under my eyes, and it's amazing. It actually dethroned my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder, which I've been using for years and is fantastic. So, and this is actually better than that. So I just take a tiny little bit on a setting brush and pat it under my eyes like this. And if I really, really want to make sure that I don't get like too cakey and things, you know, my under eye, the lines under my eyes aren't emphasized, I take a damp Beautyblender and just pat it like this. And it's amazing. So yeah, try it under your eyes, and because it's so much, it'll last a really long time. If your skin is dry and you're not oily at all, you might like this for setting, but for me, I need something a bit thicker. Speaking of, Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in 1 Fair is by far my favorite powder for setting my face. Just have a quick look. This is probably like my 5th one of these. I have gone through so many, and there is no powder like it. It is blurring. It is mattifying without being too mattifying. It just makes my skin look natural. It makes my it makes my makeup last. It offers a tiny bit of coverage. So on days when I just, like today for example, when I was going out to buy my lens, I just put concealer on the places that I wanted a bit of coverage, dusted this on top, and I was good to go. Like, it's just a tiny bit of coverage, but not too much, and it lasts. I mean, again, it's expensive and you don't get a lot. I tend to go through it fast, but there's just no other powder like it. I love it. And this video is not sponsored by Charlotte Tilbury. I just really, really love her, and I'm sorry for those of you who find her price tag problematic. It is a lot, but I mean, I've just tried everything, and it's better. What can I say? It's just better, and I find it worth it. So there you go. I promise that not everything is Charlotte Tilbury from here on out. What is next? Oh, brows. Yeah. This falls into the category of not that exciting, but something I could not be without, and that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in medium brown. I like it because it's got this spoolie at one end, so I can just comb my brows into place and then fill in the gappy parts, the thin parts, with this little spoolie. And the reason why it's so great is, well, A, the color, it's perfect for me, but the nib is very, very fine, and I can just draw in little strokes that look like hairs. It's not too waxy, so it doesn't go on very pigmented, but which is good, I find, for a brow product. It looks more natural, not too harsh. So not very exciting, certainly not new, but I can't be without it. Yeah, I order backups because I get anxiety at the idea of running out of this and not having it on a day. And I do use brow gel with it, but I'm not as committed to the brow gel as I am to this particular product. My favorite bronzing powder, which is I also use as a contour, is something that has been discontinued. And I'm sorry for that, but I need to be authentic, right? I'm not going to show you something that isn't actually a favorite. It is the Bobbi Brown Brightening Blush in Pink Truffle. and you never know, maybe Bobbi Brown will bring it back. Look how much I've used, and I have a backup. I was able to find one on eBay. You guys, Bobbi Brown is not widely spoken about in the YouTube verse, but she is so underrated. Her products are so good, and maybe it's because her products, I find, are kind of marketed towards older people and not towards teenagers. They're a little bit more sheer, but I find that a good thing. Sheer products can be easier to work with. But the reason why I love this brightening blush so much, and it's a brightening blush, but I would never use it as a blush. It's quite brown, like there's a bit of pink here, but this is brown, is that it's just the perfect color for me. It's matte without being too matte. Like I mix this together and it gets a little bit glowy, but it doesn't go beyond that, so it's good for contour, but the color is just perfect for me. Difficult to find something that looks so perfect on me because I am quite fair and quite pink. Can you see that? I don't know, but I am wearing it today. It's perfect for a bronzy contoury type thing. Sometimes if I want to tie my whole look together, I'll take a little bit of this after contouring with it and even just put it in the sockets of my eyes. And if I'm wearing an eyeshadow look that I want to make like up the oomph of a little bit, I'll even put a little bit under my eyes. And I find that that slight monochromatic look of eyes and bronzer matching just really works. So Bobbi Brown, please, please, please bring this back. I really love it. I'm not sure what I'll do when I run out. My number 2 product would be the Charlotte Tilbury bronzing shade in Bronze and Glow. It's really, really great. It's just not quite as good as this in terms of shade, but the formula is very similar. The formula is great. Maybe a bit more glowy, but that's fine. It's a little bit more yellowy, a little bit more browny. This one's a bit more pink, and so it just looks perfect with my skin tone. Anyway, love it. If you can find it somewhere, buy it. If they bring it out again, let me know, because I'll buy 3. Blush. Not expected for me. I tend to go with very, very pink blushes because I really like that doll-like look, but sometimes it can be a little bit easy to overdo. And in this last year, I haven't always had time to do a lot of makeup in the morning. I've gone really, really fast, and I like things that are very foolproof. And I find also that a lot of nude blushes, sort of the standard nude blushes, can tend to look kind of orangey on me and just not very flattering. I still like a pink, but I wanted something hard to overdo, and for me that's NARS Impassioned. It's very, very, very pale pink, but it's distinctly cool toned, and it just looks good with everything. It's my absolute favorite. I mean, it doesn't look like much in the pan, but I keep reaching for it day after day, and the proof is in the pudding. Again, wearing it today, so if you haven't tried it out, I suggest that you do. Highlighter is actually not something that I wear every day, partly because of my age. It can just make me look old or overdone, and partly because people just don't wear a ton of makeup in my office. So I do wear it if I want to look special, if I'm going out, but on a day-to-day basis, when I have time, I typically just put a little bit in the corners of my eyes to look a little bit more awake. And my favorite highlighter is one by Laura Mercier. It's just the Matte Radiance Baked Powder and Highlight 01. It looks like this. The shade is really, really nice. And what's good about it is that it's very gentle. Like, there is some shine to it and some glimmer, but it's very, very subtle. And for somebody like me, who again is not 24, that's really important. And I mean, I've been using it for a couple years and there's barely a dent in it, so a little does go a long way. So give that a try. Here's a tool. It looks a little bit dirty, for which I apologize. It is the Real Techniques, what is it? Real Techniques setting brush. And this is a brush that I use every single day for setting under my eyes. It is the perfect, perfect shape for getting right in there and just setting the area under my eyes with powder. I have 3 of these. That's how much I like them and how much I can't be without them. You can use it for other things. I typically don't, but I mean, you could certainly apply shadow all over your eye. You could certainly do some blending in your crease if you had, if you wanted a really big wash of color. You could certainly contour with this. It's perfect. It's just a tiny little brush. You could just scoop here and get the contour in. You could use it for nose. It's small enough. It's a great little brush, and it's like $10, so I can't recommend this enough. Again, I have 3. Another tool is the Beautyblender. Again, not very exciting, but oh my goodness, I could not be without it. Like, I don't know how I would do my makeup if I ran out of, if I couldn't find my Beautyblender. I use it to even out my foundation. Excuse me. I have not found a foundation brush that does my makeup without leaving a single streak. Like, brushes are fantastic for really working the product into the skin, so I like to start with a brush to really bind it with the skin, but then I take a beauty blender afterwards and just run it all over everything to get rid of any excess and to get rid of any streaks so that it looks the most natural. And I also use it for concealer. I put concealer under my eyes or on my nose, my chin, and then I'll just blend it out with this And then just make sure I have a really nice, thin, even layer, not wearing too much so things don't get cakey. So could not be without it. Fantastic. Eyeshadow palettes. This was a hard decision, as you can imagine. Although I was away from the blogging world this year, I was not away from the makeup world. I bought a lot. And my favorite is not all that exciting, but it is dependable. And again, it is Bobbi Brown. It is the Bobbi Brown Nude Drama palette. And you can still get this at Sephora, even though it's technically limited edition, but it doesn't sell out crazy quickly like a lot of things do. Part of it's because I think that Bobbi Brown is very underrated. For example, people tend to not like her shadows, at least that's what I hear, because they're not very pigmented. But I don't think pigmentation equals quality. It's a characteristic of eyeshadow. But for people who like more natural looks, for people who like to wear very everyday, very wearable eyeshadow, people who don't have a lot of time to do a lot of detailed work or to really work at getting things right, a sheerer eyeshadow is fantastic because it's more foolproof, it's easier to work with. I don't so much care about the pigmentation. I want to know, does it blend properly? I don't want it to be patchy. Does it look good? Is it easy to work with? And Bobbi Brown checks all of those boxes. And as it happens, there are some shadows in here that are quite pigmented, but in a good way. So here's what it looks like. Okay, so you can see on this side it's 4 mattes, and I find it quite a good, there's another matte here actually, and it's quite a good range. This pale one, I'll just put all over my eye to set my primer, and then I've got a pink, a medium brown, a darker brown, and a very dark brown that I can use for transitioning, deepening the crease. I could use this as an eyeliner if I wanted, I just typically don't. And then you've got a mix of shimmers and micro glitters. And this is my favorite shade. I mean, who doesn't love a good taupe? That's what I've got right here on the outer half of my eye. And on the inner half of my eye, I've got this one. And then I've got, I think, these two in the crease, and then this one to deepen the crease. And I just love it. It's one that I keep reaching for over and over again. Something to keep in mind with Bobbi Brown shadows is that a lot of her micro glitters function a lot like the pop shades in Charlotte Tilbury palettes. They're better applied with your finger, and they're intended to be like a top coat. You're not supposed to be able to see them opaquely like this. So just keep that in mind if you're finding it difficult to work with. If a brush doesn't work, try your fingers. I went with gel liner for the longest time, and I still really, really love it. But I get a little bit tired of cleaning the brush every day. And so when Charlotte Tilbury came out, I discovered her Rock and Kohl iconic liquid eye pencils. And they are everything that I want in a gel liner, but with the ease of a pencil. They are wonderful. Like, they're basically a gel formula, but in a pencil. And so I don't like that you have to keep sharpening them, but that's better than cleaning the brush every day, so I take it. The thing that I don't like about a lot of eye pencils is that they drag and they seem dry, and it's just difficult to get a nice, clean, rich, dark line. Not that problem with this. And I put it along the eye, I'm wearing it today. It's deep, it's dark, it's rich. I can either leave it nice and sharp, or I can take a smudger brush and soften the line and just have that nice, soft, smoky look. It's gorgeous. And I used to be all about the black eyeliner. I thought that brown didn't look dramatic enough, but Barbarella brown is like the perfect shade. I'll put it on the back of my hand. It's so dark that it's almost black, but there's a little bit of warmth, a little bit of richness, and it's just not as harsh. I used to not understand what people said about brown being less harsh than black, but then I just got a little bit older, and I just got it somehow. Black just made me look tired. It's hard to explain. Barbarella brown gives me all the drama and all of the richness that I'm looking for, just with a little bit more softness, and it's really, really beautiful. The last product that I'm going to talk about is, again, not very exciting, but an old faithful, and it's Clinique Fit, what is it? Clinique Fit Workout 24-Hour Mascara. Looks like this. Now, I don't wear this to work out. I wear it every single day. And yeah, it's just this line they've recently come out with, I guess, for girls that are guys, I suppose, who want to wear makeup at the gym. No comment on that, but I picked it up because I went into Shoppers looking for Clinique Lash Power Mascara. And they said it's been discontinued, but it's been repackaged, and now it's this. And sure enough, it's the same thing. And incidentally, it's also exactly the same, I find, as MAC Extended Play Mascara. And the reason why this is an old faithful for me is that I pair it with whatever mascara I'm wearing at the time. I usually pair this with a volumizing mascara. So I'll put on my volumizing mascara on the top, which of late has been Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Lashes Volume 2. Volume 2 is less smudgy than the first, so it's really good. I didn't include it in my favorites because I think I slightly prefer the Volume de Chanel. I just don't have one right now. But this always goes on top of that and on the bottom lashes, and it does not smudge like most other mascaras do, so do give it a try. One of the nice things about it is this teeny tiny little brush. You can just get every single lash and separate and lengthen, and it's a beautiful thing. Anyway, that is it. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my 2018 favorites. I will be back with you soon. Please feel free to leave me a comment below letting me know what your favorites are and what other content you'd like to see from me in the coming years. I'm looking forward to getting back to it. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Thanks so much, and Happy New Year. Bye.